This looks like a lot, but actually I think I can go through it pretty quickly. This is my 65th day, first video. My class is going to continue to have this schizophrenic nature in that the first videos will be about grammar, and then I'll turn to the chronological survey. All the average person ever needs, all the average student of foreign language ever needs to know about adverbs is my claim. There are various kinds of adverbs. I dealt with them. If you talk about the kinds of adverbs according to how they're structured, how they're formed, that's one way. If you group them by meaning, GB, group by meaning, well, you can say, there's a whole list of them, like how, when, where, why. Manner, time. I'm not so sure that's worth doing. But it is worth pointing this out, that there are certain ones of affirmation. Surely, of course, you know, I haven't spoken about my very good German friend for a while, Shirley, but in chatting with her, I so much needed to say of course, and I didn't know how to say that. Well, in German, it seems like the way you say that is natürlich, naturally. That's the most common way, as near as I can tell, to say of course. In English, we use this would be a phrasal adverb here, if you group it by form. Negation, extremely important. I've joked before about telling kids if they were going to go to France, and I could only teach them one word, what should I teach them? And I'd say, non, no. But the thing is, no is not an adverb. No is an interjection, but not. Every language, I think, every language I know, have to have a way to make a statement negative. Well, in English we do it with the word not. Never, though, would also be an adverb of negation. See, it's not so obvious. Does that answer the question when? How, when, where, why? Not. I'm not sure. That's why I think it's worth pointing out that these are adverbs. Hardly is another one. There's a whole thing in English about double negatives, that they're supposed to be bad. I cannot hardly hear you. It's supposed to be substandard English. But maybe later on I'll tell you more about that. Anyway, probability, maybe, perhaps, possibly. Very, very common, very necessary words. You know, that chart that I'll show you again, I think I call it words that must be known if you're going to become fluent in a language. Well, these are certainly on the chart. Well, if you now group adverbs by their function, what do they actually do? Well, an adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. I should say a word or words, really, if I were being careful, but or more precise. Well, that's what they do, but the thing is, they can do more. Simple adverbs simply modify, and I think basically the ones that I've got up here are simple adverbs. That's all they do. They change the verb. They modify the verb, the adjective, or the other adverb. And I didn't list them, but basically, I think every adverb I've talked about so far has been a simple adverb, I believe. But there are complex adverbs. Now, notice that I don't usually do this. I just use tabbing for an outline form, but this gets complicated, and I like to sort it out. Complex adverbs do more than modify. They don't just modify. They do other things as well. And even that, I'm going to separate that down, divide that down. There are conjunctive adverbs. And notice I didn't box it. Some of these, I don't think they're critical that you know these terms. Conjunctive adverbs, they join clauses. Like conjunction is the word that joins. Well, adverbs can act like that too. And they join clauses. Now, clauses, I don't want to get into that right now because that's a term from syntax. I'll just say QV, quod vide, go check it out. And you'll find a discussion of clauses in the tense section, which I've not opened yet. It's going to be on page 10 point something. I don't know what. But anyway, that's what they do. I'll show you one doing it here in just a moment. Well, of the conjunctive adverbs, One kind are, and I put an A here, but I put it up here as well, transitional adverbs. I'm going to discuss transition in the very next video, the one that's coming today still, in another context. But a transition is a way to go across smoothly. And what they do is they coordinate. Well, QV, Quod Vitae, the syntax section, I'll discuss coordination. I can tell you right now, it means they join things, but they join them on an equal basis. They don't make one under the power of the other. They coordinate. They're very much like conjunctions here. And here's a list, a fairly complete list. Also, accordingly, however, nevertheless, so, then. These are very important, very common words in any language. Well, an example of a transitional adverb is the word still. And in real precise punctuation, the way I learned it anyway, you put a semicolon before it and a comma after it. He loves her. Still, he won't marry her. Well, if that were he loves her but he won't marry her, but would be a conjunction. But this is different. This carries more of a meaning than sort of just joining. Anyway, in traditional grammar, this would be called a transitional adverb. Okay, tomorrow I should be able to finish adverbs, and now I've been very anxious to talk to you about Black Orpheus, so that's coming in the very next video.